The sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. A Course in Miracles. Hey everybody, Yogi Chevy here, and I am explaining step 8 in my 8-step process to healing after an emotional trauma. And step 8 is the atonement. And this is the purest of all the steps. You know, this is where, you know, I accept that somebody else can set my life straight, you know, like that somebody else can just accept me because of who I am, and love me because of who I am, and love me in spite of my humanness, and is willing to take, you know, my suffering on as a sacrifice, and you know, and in accepting that grace for myself, and accepting that love, and acceptance, it's like the only thing that I can do with that is to offer it to others, and is to sit with a brother, sit with a sister in pain, and just be able to be with them, and just let people come exactly as they are. And you know, it's hard to come exactly as we are. And I know for me, it's like being, you know, a middle-aged white man in the United States is not really the most popular thing. And it's like, I see the destruction that we have done. And if you look out through history, you know, white men have not been the kindest of people. And so, you know, to find myself in an incarnation as a white man is hard, especially when you do believe in reincarnation. And, you know, there's so much that we need to atone for, and so much that we need to be thankful for. And it's like the amount that I atone for myself is like the amount that I can forgive. And part of that is just asking to see something differently. Like, I really got this out of A Course in Miracles, and especially out of Marianne Williamson's work, is that sometimes it's like if I'm going to accept that atonement for myself, I also have to be really willing to give it, which means that not to take things personally, and to forgive, and that where I see resentment in my life is like clogs in my system. And that, you know, in order for me sometimes to get rid of a clog, you just can't look at it in a really practical way. And you have to sometimes call out for help and be like, how can I see this differently? How do I fix this? And be willing to whatever that answer comes. And the only thing that I can kind of equate this to, and this is my stand for the holiday season, is that I'm fasting through Thanksgiving. And let me just kind of tell you why I'm doing that. And you know, my practice as I've become a yogi is that I've really given up an emotional attachment to food. And I see in giving up an emotional attachment to food, I see where like there's so much suffering in this world around food. And we punish ourselves, especially in the United States, with the intake of food. And as I see that, right, it's like the more I see that, and the depth that I see that in myself and in the world, it's like I don't want to partake in that. And it's also like goes right along with atonement, in that I get hungry just like everybody else, and I want to eat just like everybody else. Like, it's like, you know, just because I practice yoga doesn't mean that I don't appreciate food, because I tell you that I do. But it's just like, it's such an appropriate way for me to give up my suffering to something else. And it's like every time that I'm feeling hungry and that I want to eat, you know, when I'm fasting, it's like offering up that suffering for maybe somebody else who doesn't even have the opportunity to eat. You know, I mean, for me to renounce food is silly, because food is always around me, you know? So it's like, but for me, it's like I see in my world the devastation that food has caused to some people that I really love, and that I'm willing to, you know, give that up in this season, just to bring awareness to like nonviolence, and to bring awareness to, you know, the state that we find ourselves in this country right now with all this gun violence, and I just don't understand it. And you know, it hasn't really hit close to home with me where I've had somebody close to me die, but I tell you, it was a shock when I heard that it was happening in yoga studios and it's happening in bars. And it doesn't get the play that the other places get, but we're out there killing each other, people. And we're either killing each other, people, with our guns, or we're killing each other ourselves with food and what we intake. And so it's like, you know, for me, this holiday season, that's my stand and my atonement. It's like, as I accept that love and acceptance for myself, like in all of my human frailty, that this being loves me, that source loves me, that, you know, for me, Jesus Christ loves me, and that suffering was already taken, and that any suffering that I can take on, I want to take on. And so for me, it's like, I see our country and I see my fellow man suffering with food. And so it's something that I'm going to take on this holiday season, and not to overindulge in food, and to fast. So anyway, I love you guys. If you went through this video series with me, I just want to and I want to thank, and I want to share you, because it just kept me going. And I love all of you tremendously. And I don't know, I don't feel like asking you to like and share this, but I love you, and let's just take care of each other, people. Let's just share that love all around today. And I just want to leave you with this. It's like, I came here today wearing like all my bling, and this stuff is heavy, and I laid some heavy stuff around about feeling like a white man and what that means to me. And like, these are like my chains, you know. And it's like, I rely on my chains, and I rely on my chains a lot, you know. There's nothing more than I like than to pray with a set of beads. And it gets me connected to source. It gets me connected to what's right. And it's like, when I can just sit in silence and be with my chains, with my beads, it's healing. It is. And you know, I just hope that that my audience can just sit out there in peace this holiday season, and just be at peace, and let yourself feel, and keep showing up, and look what we say out of our mouths, and do our very best not to react when we are in anger, and find things to love, and find things to serve. And find the things that inspire us, and pursue atonement. So, and give forgiveness, especially in this holiday season. So, oh my gosh, this is a crazy emotional week, but I love you guys. From the bottom of my heart, happy Thanksgiving. And I will continue to keep you in my prayers.